Alright, quick video of progress. I've got the cases split, cranks out. I've measured the con rod side to side plate. It's only 0.5mm. I'll upload a video of showing how to do that. It's quite straightforward. So that's good, well within spec. Crank bearings are gritty, but there's no play. I'm going to replace everything anyway. Gearbox bearings are all pretty notchy because it was run low on oil, particularly this bearing here. So the clutch hub sits on the other side of this bearing. This is the support bearing for the main shaft. The front sprocket is attached to this shaft, and the chain was really loose and really heavily worn. It took out the sprockets, and it's also taken out this bearing, and the main bearing, the sprocket main bearing is pretty bad as well. I'm replacing everything. This is a drawn cup needle roller bearing. It's a TA1512. It's in the book, but for anyone wanting to use a non-genuine part, you can get these readily. RKO and NTN make them. TA1512, and they are now also made by bearing companies in China too. This is probably an NTN NK152512. It's a needle roller bearing with a machined outer race. You can get aftermarket ones of these as well, but I think just because of how critical these needle rollers are, I'm just going to go with Japanese bearings, or this one. It's probably easiest to source through Yamaha. It isn't cheap though, it's about 50 bucks. And these are relatively more available. It's a more standard size bearing. These are used in some other Yamahas too, so TA1512. There's a bit of play in the dampers in the clutch hub. So inside this hub, these pins have there's a little housing in here that holds some rubber dampers that just some people I think called a cush drive. There's one in the rear wheel as well, but these are quite heavily worn. There's quite a lot of free movement. It's really hard to show you with one hand, but you can. For my CT175, I was able to get new rubbers and new pins, and I just pressed them back into place. Some people just use screws, but there's not a lot of clearance here, so you've got to think about what you're going to use. Some people grind down the heads of screws, but if you've got a 10-ton press, you can easily press these pins back into place. So I'll decide whether or not I'm going to replace those. You can see there's probably a little bit of evidence of oil starvation here, where we've got some metal transfer off the washer, the support washer. I'll probably just flip that over and to a good side, or the washer that is. It's not terrible. The teeth and everything look okay. There's not a lot of heavy wear there from being run really dry. The bearing race is not too bad. See a little bit of dulling there on the surface finish, but certainly no edge. There's no sort of palpable wear. All right, that's it. We'll just heat up these cases to 100 or so degrees Celsius, and the bearings should just push out with minimal effort. And then the reverse for reassembly. I'll clean the cases thoroughly and polish them, and then freeze the bearings and just drop them in. It's a nice way to do things. Everything seats really easily. Just takes the hard work and reduces the risk of damaging any bearings or housings.